Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present, and future. Good morning, everybody. It is January 6th, 2025. I'm here in Auckland, New Zealand with another Monday mantra for you. So if you haven't got your journals out, get them out now to make notes. The way that you should be listening to the Monday mantras are about 3 times a week. So when you see it being posted, and then in the middle of the week and the end of the week before the homework, so that you can really maximize what the lesson is about and also get the energy that I'm giving you to align you with what is going on for the week for your soul progression. Now, if you're listening to this on the Beacon app or on YouTube or on Spotify, please don't forget to like, tag, subscribe, do all of the things. I love reading your comments. I know sometimes I can be a bit slow replying to them, but they are received with such gratitude. So thank you for being here. Can you believe we're the 6th of January already? It's an incredible start to the year. I can't wait to talk to you about what's been going on and what we need to focus on this week. But let's do a quick recap first, because the recap is really important, not to dwell in the past, but to see how far we've come, to see what we're learning as we go along on our journey. Now, last week I set the Monday mantra as my mind shapes my reality. I live without fear, guided by my free will. My mind shapes my reality. I live without fear, guided by my free will. Now, what I learned as I went through the week is that the mind is not just the conscious mind, but it's also the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. And this was what was coming up in my world, in all that I was doing, to make me realize that if I'm going to be using my free will now, I need to look at what my mind is telling my body, which is subconsciously and unconsciously, so that I can actually move through this. And this is something we all need to pay attention to. So when we get triggered, it is because we have got something unconsciously or subconsciously that we still haven't dealt with yet. And when we entered that year of the 9, December was all about cycles completing. But this whole year is about that too. So it's like December gave us that transition into the new year, the year of the snake, which doesn't start until the end of this month when it is Chinese New Year. But it is symbolizing that spiritual growth, the wisdom, the completion of things, because then next year we go to the number 1 year, which is the beginning of everything. So we had a new moon, and the new moon really gave us a chance to set new intentions for this year. And I have to tell you, on New Year's Eve, I was not feeling very good. I was feeling lethargic. I was feeling heavy. I was feeling upset. And it was a real heaviness that I knew that I needed to get rid of from the unconscious, because there was nothing that was happening that was making me feel that way. It was the collective energy of moving from one year to the next. And it's like how we can feel on birthdays sometimes. And so it was giving us that ability to close things off, to have closure, to open ourselves to a fresh inspiration. So I ended up going to bed at like 9:30 that night and getting up at like 10 o'clock the next morning. I needed that full sleep to make that transition from the night before to the new year, to 2025. And then the next day, the heaviness started to dissipate. There were deep conversations that were had that day. And it was just a real opportunity for us to embrace the new possibilities of stepping out of the old and into the new, into the 9, into finally completing things. And that was a really important message. Subconscious mind, unconscious mind, as well as what's going on consciously. And that was the deep and meaningful conversations I ended up having on New Year's Day. And as we move forward, these uncharted emotions, when I spoke about uncharted emotions, it's like uncharted, boat on the sea, uncharted waters. And I brought up water last week, and it's actually raining as I'm talking to you about this. So enjoy the cleansing that is taking place when I'm speaking to you about this. Emotions arise, prompting healing in our relationships, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to our partners, our children, our friends, whatever it is. And it's so interesting that I brought up Mars, because I'm not an astrologer, but Mars was coming to me really strongly when I was recording this last week. And astrologers have been talking about Mars causing that chaoticness. And so with the heightened energy of addictions, So this is a really important message that I'm being asked to give you. And it ties into this week's Monday mantra. When there is darkness within us, and we all have that light and the shadow, right? And all of us, whether we're absolutely wonderful, amazing beings, I know I've got that as well, the shadow side, the dark energy that needs to be always brought into the light. This is the stuff that triggers me and whatever. I did bring up addiction, and this is not necessarily addictions to substances, just addictions to whatever. And this is really important message because addiction is a shadow side. It could be that you are not actively an addict, or someone's not around you that's not actively behaving in that way. But the unconscious and subconscious energy of addiction needs to be looked at, because if we are pulled out of balance, that can be an opportunity to heal fear of what we're actually afraid of. And this is where we need to channel that uncharted emotion into self-empowerment. What can we do to empower ourselves? Like New Year's Eve, I didn't have control over how I felt. I just was so like, I was shutting down. The feeling was, it was like, this is what I'm being told to tell you. Was like when we're shutting down our computers, it gives you an option to press restart or power off. It's like I just went power off, and I was like shutting down to reboot. That's why I had such a long sleep, and then re-energize. So I can feel it go to my head as I'm talking to you now, and as the rain is coming down outside. It's like we're cleansing, we're letting go, we're shutting down, and then we're going to be able to start again. So if you find yourself triggered, look at the unconscious, look at the subconscious, and look at the sadness that lies beneath the anger, because for me it was a deep collective sadness. And I know that whenever I'm feeling anything, it's not just for me, it's because Spirit is asking me to clear a whole lot of people at the same time. Spirit is inviting us to cleanse ourselves. That's why it wasn't raining before, but it is raining now. It's like, take in that water, clear your energy field now, not only with physical water, but through the emotional healing, really speaking what you need to speak. And that's in a thing itself, isn't it? Stepping through your fear to enable you to speak up. And that can be a really hard thing to do. And when emotions are likened to water, it's like when we get to that point of like we can't control it anymore, it's like that is the opportunity where Moses parts the Red Sea and the path unfolds forward. So before we can take that step, there are things in the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind that are coming up to be recognized, to be able to renew, to cleanse, to repair, to make sure we carve out some time to actually deal with that, so that we can create a new reality, so that our mindset is completely changing on all levels of the mindset. So the week that we begun on last week, going into this week, because all the Monday mantras merge into one another, is bringing in love, hope, and acceptance. And we need to embrace that by allowing bits to let go first. And it's also the time to observe our feelings and experience what it means to let go of some control, but control what we can. Whether we are controlling others or controlling ourselves, the energy of control is being looked at. We want to work with what we can control, but we don't want to be necessarily controlling others. Examining our attachments to things, which is then a form of addiction also, because attachment, we all get attached, but we want to look at it in a healthy way, allowing others, because remember, free will for us is also us letting others be exercising their free will too. Focus on what you're clearing out in order to nurture and facilitate your spiritual growth. The action that I gave you last week in the written Monday mantra was, what fear will you step through to create what you desire? What action will you take to shape your reality? For me, the action that I stepped through to create what I desire was dealing with some subconscious mind stuff, some stuff that was deeply underneath that I had put a layer of protection on top, and the action that I took was actually verbalizing it and getting to the bottom of it so that I could move forward. Okay, as we move through the week, I put up a post, Imagine a world where the only limitation is your imagination, a reality where you can conjure up visions of your dreams in your mind's eye, bring them to life with intention and purpose, and manifest them into being through disciplined action. So disciplined action. What would your path look like if the universe was clear of obstacles and your potential was limitless? And this is bringing in that energy of the Pegasus, which I put up a new meditation of being grounded, but also being limitless in where you can fly. Now, as we had that new moon coming up on New Year's Eve, it coincided with the end of the year. It was the second new moon for the month for that closure to reflect on the journey. And so as the reflection of everybody was coming to me, there was that sadness, there was that frustration, there was that anger of like, well, have I made any progress? And so it's about acknowledgement. We might have to acknowledge ourselves, we might have to acknowledge people in our lives, but as we look back at the progress we've made, acknowledging our growth and accomplishments with gratitude. And I've been feeling immense amount of gratitude for all of you, gratitude for my life, gratitude for who I am, gratitude for my work. So it's really important that we come back to that place of gratitude. When we seek recognition for our efforts, it's because we know that we've grown and evolved in profound ways that we're looking for that reflection back. And sometimes we need to hear it verbally, sometimes it's through the actions of others, sometimes it's when the universe delivers amazing synchronicities for us to go, hang on, you have grown. Here is how far you've come because this is what we're giving you. So what have you received in the last week? And we want to look at that throughout the whole month of January. As we look inwards, we're also confronted with our shadows, the darkness. And those are the parts of ourselves that we have suppressed or we've hidden underneath. And yet, this is not a time to shame ourselves or shame other people or judge other people, but it's an opportunity to integrate our spiritual growth into our everyday lives. It's a chance to bring the infinite potential into harmony with our human experiences. So flying like the Pegasus, but grounded here in who we are, being grateful for what we've got, knowing that we have the free will to exercise what we're doing next. And in this moment, we have the power to create our own reality. We have a chance to step into our higher selves, to embody our deepest desires and aspirations. The choice is ours. The path is actually clear and it's clearing. So what are you going to create? I know what I want to create. What do you want to create? The soul progression card for the week was spiritual growth, which was really interesting because that's what I wrote in the beginning anyway. And it was because we're making a transition from one year to the next to experience this great shift in perspective, time, and energy, because it literally just shifted from the end of December to the 1st of January. It was like, oh my God, from that lethargic heaviness to, oh, I'm really sprouting like that seed. This transition can evoke all of those feelings and reflections for many. It's already stirred up emotions in all of us, and it may be even good emotions, but of course, I'm talking about what needs to be cleared for our soul progression. We have this unique opportunity to release certain aspects of our past creations and welcome new beginnings as the collective longs for hope and possibility in the year ahead. When that spiritual growth card came up, it invited us to reframe our human experiences because that's what spirituality does. It makes us look at life differently. And instead of dwelling in the past, we are encouraged to recognize the growth that arises from our journeys. And that's what I've had to look at over the last week too. It's like, what is the growth from having to experience this again so that I can recreate it? So that's something, a real strong message there for you. Why do I need to experience this again so that I can recreate something new? We are being called to step forward fearlessly into this growth as it aids us in completing lessons and gaining greater personal power. Love that. And it was funny because I spoke to a lot of friends on New Year's Eve going, okay, what are you letting go of in 2024? All of them, without me prompting them, came back with the fear of, and they would state what they were letting go of. The fear of whatever was what they were leaving behind in 2024. So what is the fear of that you are leaving behind, that you've left behind in 2024, that you are now going to completely be free of as you go through this year? Our extended meaning of the Monday mantra: to confront our fears and create a new reality, we must first accept our current situation. This often means recognizing reoccurring patterns that no longer serve us, even those we believed we had already healed. Acknowledging these patterns is crucial for exercising our free will and making meaningful changes. And this is what I meant. I had things come up that I thought, oh my God, is this being dealt with? But no, it was the unconscious, it was the subconscious that was coming up as the mind was needing to be cleared in order for a new reality to be created. So a lot to unpack there. Let us know, what is the fear of that you've let go of in 2024, and what was the action that you took to create a new reality? Remember, I'm here for you, but I am only one person. I'm doing my very best to cater to all the requests that we get. Personalized meditations, mini readings for short, brief answers. I do not go into depth in the mini readings because I work in layers. So soul33@gmail.com. If you need Karen, www.soul33.com. There is somebody else that is operating with my name, and we have, I was first, so just make sure it's .com that you're going to. So just go and email Karen with the right subject title so she knows how to address and what she needs to address with you. But thank you so much for your patience and response times also, because we do get a large number of emails. Okay, are you ready for this week's Monday mantra? A sequence of events is unfolding, allowing me to influence them with my natural power, which is to experience pleasure. So this is still about creating your own reality with free will, but pleasure is the word that was used this week. There are many ways to approach life, and this week we are encouraged to adopt a more moderate and compassionate attitude toward everyone involved. Spirit invites us to choose peace over the need to be right or to exert control. This week we embody the qualities of kings, embodying our natural power. So if you think of a king, right, we don't need to get too in deep about this, because I'm just using it as an analogy. We think of a king, they're born into their kingdom, so it's a natural power that they already had through birthright. If the ultimate king within us holds sovereign control, then there's no need to assert further influence. It's about maintaining a powerful mindset, including subconscious and unconscious, and staying connected to our core, grounded here on earth in our power. Being comfortable in your own skin and assertively authentic. So assertively authentic. This is not about being aggressive, but assertively authentic in who we are will be the greatest asset this week. Hanuman is celebrated on the 11th, so the monkey god. Remember I brought him up a few weeks ago, and it's his festival. And during this festival, devotees seek his strength and his courage and his guidance in overcoming life obstacles and challenges. And the number 6 this week, so it was really interesting. I kept getting number sequences. So like 11, 22, 33, but particularly 33 and 6, okay? And I don't know why, but the 1-1, Hanuman's on 11, so 1-1, we're in the first month of the year, 1. So I've put here though, just so let's listen to this carefully. The number 6 holds significant meaning, representing harmony, balance, nurturing, and service to others, which is what this whole next 20 years is about. This week, let's lovingly extend offerings of peace to build a bridge and cultivate that harmony. And that may mean sharing your gifts, having inspiration coming to you, because magic will unfold in your own creative pursuits with your sexual energy, which is your creative energy that seeks to be energized through pleasure in all forms. So pleasure in all forms, eating, doing nice things for yourself, all of that is coming up. Engaging in activities for pleasure will serve as your prayer, signaling the universe that you are not trying to control, but instead clearing a path through enjoyment. So be on the lookout for master numbers, 1-1 alignment, 33, and then adding those numbers up. Those sequences are indicating that you are on the right path. And the number 33 brings us back to the significance of adding those two numbers up to 6. This week is about mastering the art of harmony. So if you're thrown off balance, what pleasure can you bring yourself to come back to that place of balance? You might start noticing dragonflies again. Kieran has sent me some emails with pictures that you guys have been seeing, but send them through to social media because then we can share them. And you may notice more Pegasus symbolizing. The dragonfly will be symbolizing DNA upgrades, and the Pegasus, our freedom to be who we are and that natural power. And these upgrades are urging us to pay attention to the truth, whatever the truth may mean. We will gain the ability to see through the illusion of time. When we experience pleasure, time slows down, allowing us to perceive more. Our action this week. What is a pleasure you can bring into your life that you can control? So, because we can control our pleasure while allowing everything else to unfold. So, take a moment, close your eyes if you're not driving, giving you now the energy of grace and pleasure. And as you bring this in, time slows down because time seems to go very fast. And when we are focused on a pleasurable thing, we can feel everything. So feel your natural power rising up within you now. Remember, I'm always here for you, but I am only one person. The app is only $60 a year, and the reason why we can keep it at that rate is because we have the external link. Yes, it's one extra step, but it doesn't mean that we're going to be putting this app up to triple or quadruple the amount of what we're charging now, which is a very nominal fee. So it's a great way for you to participate in the homework, listen to the Monday mantras, use the oracle cards, moon calendars, all sorts of things on there. Okay, your Monday mantra is: a sequence of events is unfolding, allowing me to influence with my natural power, which is to experience pleasure. A sequence of events is unfolding, allowing me to influence them with my natural power, which is to experience pleasure. Kieran is the person to email if you need us at all. soul33@gmail.com, and I'll see you all next week. Comment below on how you are experiencing pleasure in your life.